This is your review for your quiz on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on what class you are. So, first question. Kiana has 4 pears, 6 apples, 3 oranges. Write the ratio of oranges to pears. Oh my God. Okay, so oranges. So we want to actually write it in order. So oranges came first. So you have choices here as to how you want to write it. So oranges is 3, pears is 4. He didn't ask you to write it in any way, so if you wrote it like this, it's fine. If you wrote it like this, it's fine. And if you wrote it like this, it's fine as well. It wasn't specific, but it was asking you to compare oranges first, the number of oranges to the number of pears. 2. There are 13 girls and 24 boys taking music lessons. Write the ratio that compares the number of boys, so to taking music with the number of students taking music lessons. Well, okay. So the number of boys that are taking music it's 24. So here's my ratio, 24, 2. And I want to compare it to the total. I don't have the total, but to find the total, that's not that bad. I just simply add the 13 girls plus the 24 boys, and that's going to give me a total of 37 total. Okay, so to compare the number of boys to total number of people would be 24 to 37. 3, for every 4 zebras, there are 11 lions. Write the ratio in 3 different ways. Oh boy. 4 zebras to 11 lions. You can use a colon. You can use the word 2. And you can express this as a fraction if you so choose to. In this case, you have no choice. So I'm looking for all these 3. Okay. Next one. Write a ratio. Write something. Write 2 equivalent ratios for 15/4. So be sure to include an example of scaling down. So scaling down meaning a ratio that is smaller than this, an equivalent ratio that's smaller, and an equivalent ratio that is bigger. So let's write that down. So one that's on this side, which is bigger, one that's on the left side, which is smaller. So over here you have so many choices. So I'm going to take the easiest one, I guess it would be times 2, and I get 30/8. I'm going to make quite a few because I don't know what you chose to, but just to show you that I could have multiplied this times 10 and the bottom times 10, and that would have gotten 150/40. I could have multiplied by 8. I don't know why I chose 8, but I chose 8. But 4 times 8 is 32, so I'm going to get 32 here. And times 8 there is going to be 120. So 15/4, 30/8, 150/40, 120/32. They're all equivalent ratios on the bigger side. But on the smaller side, let's see if we can simplify this. Well, actually, I should write one more line here. 15/4. I can change this to, let's see if I can divide this by 2. Make it a 2 and 7.5 over here. Right? I divide this by 2. And I divide this by 2. And I can make one more, which by now everybody should be very familiar with, which is a unit rate. So that 4 became a 1. I divided 4 divided by 4 to get a 1. And on top, I'm also going to divide by 4. And 15 times 4, I have no idea. So we'll figure it out. 15 times 4, carry the 1, carry the 2. It's going to give you 3.75. So there's another ratio that's on the smaller side of our original one, which was 15/4. So one on the right side, a bigger one, and one on the left side, which was smaller. Okay, so complete the table. So you're missing value here, here, and here. The only one that we know is this up and down relationship. Anything times 4 give you 14, not that I know of. Anything divided by 14 gives you 4, not that I know of. So not much of an up and down here. But side to side, for 4 to 12, there is times 3. I'm going to take this and multiply by 3, and I get 42. Okay. I'm going to erase this to make it neater. That's what we have. Which one can we use now to go to 1? I can use 14/4, or I can use 42/12, but I'd rather work with my smaller number. So I'm going to go this way. 4 to get 4 divided by 4 gets me to 1. So 14, I'm going to divide that by 4. And 14, will that give me it's going to be 3.5, 3.5. Okay, so I'm going to erase this again. So for 1 mile, she's going to need 3.5 ounces of water. Now that I have the unit rate, look how much easier. So before I had this, and I'm going to sort of shade it, just ignore this for a second. Nothing times 4 gives me 30, nothing times 12 gives me 30. Well, not whole number wise, I'm talking, right? So now that I have the unit rate, how easy is this to go to 30? Times 30, and on top, we just times 30. So 30 times 3.5 is simply 105. Now, when you have the unit rate, life is much simpler. So I could have given you, look, if I gave you a number over here, I don't know, let's say she ran 126 miles. How many ounces of water did she drink? Well, is there a relationship from 1 to 126? Yes, there is, times 126. So on top, it would have been 3.5 times 126. And that's going to give us, carry the 126, 105. Wait, what is it? 105 times 3.5, and that's going to give us 367.5. I didn't ask you for that, but I'm just showing that once I have a unit rate, I can literally give you anything, and it's so easy for you to find the other number. Okay. 6, solve the ratio. So you want 2 ways. Okay, you gotta do it 2 ways to get full credit. For the first one, I'm gonna set it up. You and your friends both babysit. The ratio of amount of money you make, the amount of money your friend makes is 5 to 3. So here's you. Here's your friend. Okay, now I part of this, part of that's your friend, and the total amount you make together. So when you make $5, your friend makes 3 for a total of $8. So that's my initial setup. You and your friend make a total of 88. So at the end of the evening, or however long, and both of you made a combined total of 88. So where am I going to put that? I'm going to put it right over here under the total column. And I'm going to see if there is a relationship, which there is, times 11. I'm going to take everything and multiply it by 11. What does that mean? It means that at the end of the night, when you both combine your money and you add it up to 88, you made 54 and your friend made 33. Okay, so you would have to write that out as a sentence. Using a tape diagram, you, friend. So tape diagram is 5 to 3, so I'm going to create 5 boxes for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to create 3 boxes for your friend because that's the ratio. 5 to 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3. So that's our setup. Again, here is our extra piece of information. So 88 will go not on top, not at the bottom, but here because 88 represents the sum of all these boxes added up together. So let's find out what number can go in these boxes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 boxes. So if I take 8, B8, and divide it by 8 boxes that are there, it means that each box represents 11. And if you add all these boxes for you, you got 11, 22, 33, 44, 55. You made $55 and your friend made 11, 22, 33. Look, it's exactly the same as if you went to do it the other way. 7, solve the ratio by tape diagram. Okay, pens, red pens and blue pens is 2 to 5, so I can easily draw that. Red pens, blue pens. 2 for the red. 1, 2, 5 for the blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's my ratio of 2 to 5. There's 45 less pens. Okay, it is obvious that there's less pens. Look, there's 1, 2 only boxes for the red, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the less, if there's 45 less pens, I'm going to change that to saying that I can also say there's 45 more blue pens, right? It's the same thing. So I can translate that wording to this, right? So where is my more section? Well, you can clearly tell that up to here, they're the same. So here's my more section. I'll highlight it or outline it in red. There's 45 more blue. So I'll put 45 right on top here. What's one number that can go in all 3 boxes? So that it adds up to 45, and that number is 15. So the other two boxes are 15, and the other two top is 15 as well. How many pens are all there together? Now you have to add. So for red, it's 15 and 15. There's 30 red. For blue, it's 15, 30, 45, 60, 75. 75 pens. If you add them up, you get 105 altogether. Plus 8. Solve the ratio problem using a double number line. My not favorite. Yes, I have favorites, and this is not one of mine. So let's set up our double. So here's my first double line, number line. Here's my second. I'm going to say, so 48 out of 60 students in band are in 8th grade. What percent of students are in 8th grade? Okay, so I'm going to call this 8th grade students. And this one I'm going to call percent. So there are 48, so let's make a number line. This is about half, so 48. Let's make 48 over here. 48 students. And I want to know what percent it represents, so I don't know what percent 48 is. But I know that 60%, sorry, backwards. So I know that when all 60 students are here, that represents 100% of all the students. So there's 60 students in the bands, which means 100% of the band, right? 60 students, all the people in the band, so that's 100% of the band. Now out of that 60, quite a big chunk of them are 8th graders. So, do you see an up and down relationship? No. Do you see anything that divides by 60 to get to 48? No. So we're going to have to do something with 60 over 100. Not 48, you leave that alone. Change this ratio, 60 over 100, in a different way so that it might help you get to 48. For me, one of the easiest would be divide by 10. If I take 60 and divide by 10, I'm going to get 6. If I take 100 and divide by 10, I'm going to get 10. 60 over 10 can be reduced to 6 over 10. It's one of them. Okay. Is the relationship to go to 48 now? Yes, which is times 8. And it would be times 8. So 48%, 48 students out of 60 would be 80%. Okay. Let me pick a different number. Let me reduce that and divide this by 20. 60 divided by 20 would get me 3. 60. I'm going to divide that by 20. Get me 3. And take 100 and divide that also by 20, and that gives me 5. Look, I'll write 3 over 5 now. So, is there a relationship here? Yes, there is. Times 16. And I'm going to take that and times 16, which also is going to give me 80%. So, 48 out of 60, 48%, sorry, what do I keep saying? 48 students, 48 8th graders out of all the 60 students in the band represents 80%. So, if you want to think of it as a quiz, if you took a 48 out of 60 on the text, you would take home 8 and 80%. Okay? Nine. Find the unit rate. So find a better bill. So it's actually telling you to use the unit rate. Okay? So it's not like you have a choice. So you need to show me the unit rate. So I'm going to take each of them and write it as a fraction. So I'm going to take the first one, 25, and I'm going to take up points if you don't write the units. I'm going to write, and remember when you said talk about money, money goes on top, only because it's easier if you compare compare the price per shirt for each one. So for $18, I can buy 4 shirts, and the last one for $21, I can buy 5 shirts. So I wrote them as a fraction, okay, and I want to express each of them as a unit rate, meaning I want to compare to one unit. In this case, the unit is t-shirts, so I'm going to write 1 shirt here. I'll write 1 shirt here, because I want to find the price per shirt in each of these different places, so I can tell which one is cheaper. So to get this to a unit rate, well, remember, I'm changing this, right, to an equivalent ratio. 2550 over 6. How did the 6 become a 1? Divide by 6. So if I divide that by 6, I'm going to divide the top by 6. 25.50 divided by 6 is going to give me $4.25. Right? Divide by 6. Divide by 6. Over here, the 4, I'm going to divide by 4, right? Make an equivalent ratio. I'm going to divide the top by 4. And 18 divided by 4 is 4.18 divided by 4 equals 4.5. So each t-shirt in this place cost me $4.50. And on the last one, it's going to be $4.20. $1 is going to cost me $4.20. So which one's the better deal? The better deal is here. Okay, this location, every t-shirt there costs you $4.20. Okay, so much easier when each of them are expressed as a unit rate, right? And much easier to determine who's the cheapest or whoever it is, whatever, the best or the worst, whatever it is. It's much easier to compare when you have to unit. Okay. Let's move on. Número 10. Taylor read 360 pages. So this one deals with using the unit rate to get other equivalent ratios. So here is how I would set up. Taylor reads 360 pages in 12 hours. How long will it take her to read 400-page book? So let's write that as a fraction. 360 pages, it takes her 12 hours. Now I need to get to this. How long will it take her to read 400 pages? Right? Do you see a relationship side to side? Now, up and down there is. I know there is, but I want you to ignore that for a second. I should have picked the problem where there wasn't, but there is. So you could have used it. Nothing wrong with that. But I want you to start thinking as an option when there is no other, no relationship of using the unit rate. So you just can ignore my. Okay, you know what? Let me do this. First thing I forgot to do was the question says, how long will it take her to read a 400-page book? So you want to find, you should have written this in this terms, because it's asking you per page, right? I'm complicating things and I shouldn't be doing that. So here's what I'm going to do. Ignore. Let's go back to what I had. 360 pages, 12 hours, and here is 400 pages, right? Do you see a side? Anything multiplied by 360 give you 400? No side to side relationship, but up and down. Is there anything that can happen to 360 to become 12? You can divide it by what? Divide it by 30. In that case, I can also take this and divide it by 30. You will get a decimal, okay, but that's not a big deal. Okay, so it's going to take her 13.3 hours. Okay. I made a mess out of this question. Sorry. I should have just done that from the beginning. 11. I'll come back to 10. I'm still not happy with the results. So 11 says, Sam wants to enter a typing contest. In order to enter, one has to be able to type 50 words per minute. Sam can type 10 words in 15 seconds. Can he enter the contest? Well, here's what I know. 50 words in 1 minute. Now, the problem is, let me write it down. This is my requirement. This is what the requirements of the contest says. And this is what I know about Sam. She can type 10 words in 15 seconds. can I compare these two? Well, I know how much he types per second in 15 seconds, but I don't know how much he types in a minute. So I need to change either this minute to seconds or the seconds to minute. So one thing I can do is, instead of saying 50 words per minute, I can say 50 words in 60 seconds. That's what you need to do in order to type this contest. Well, this is what you know about Sam. Let's change this and see what would Sam do in 60 seconds. So much it doesn't get tired and she can keep up the same speed. Well, in 50 seconds she can type 10 words. In 30 seconds it'd be 20 words. In 40 seconds it'd be 30 words. In 60 seconds it'd be 40 words. So, or find the relationship. 15 seconds would be times 4. And on top would be times 4. But 10 times 4 is 40. So now I change what Sam can do in 10 seconds to what Sam can do in 60 seconds, because I can take this and compare to the contest requirement. I can now see, well, contest says she needs to type 50 words, but she can only type 40. So by having that comparison where I translated what Sam can do from 15 seconds to 60 seconds, I can tell if she's going to be entered the tournament. Is it a tournament? The contest or not? Okay. Ta-da! And 12. La. No. What do I do? Okay, sorry. 2/7 of Miss Taylor's gym class don't like tennis. So if 2/7 don't like, what is it that I know already? I know that 5/7 actually like playing tennis. Now what's my ratio? I can actually write a ratio from that. I can write a 2 to 5 ratio. 2 people don't like to every 5 that like. So just from this information right here, I got that the other 5/7 like tennis, and I can actually write it like this as well. So if 21 more students who like to play tennis, if there are 24 more students who like to play tennis than those that don't, how many students are in gym class? Well, I mean, what is this? If there are 20. Now, when I see this, I think of tape diagram. 24 more, 24 less, or that type of situation. I like to use a tape diagram, which is what I'm going to do. But I needed this information, right? I know that there are 2 kids who don't like to play tennis. There they are. And I know that there are 5 kids who like to play tennis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the total have to be 7, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to write don't who don't like tennis, and this will be my like group. There are 24 more students who like to play tennis. Well, obviously, look right here. This group here, the like, there's more like than don't like. And the more like are represented by these 3 squares. Right? So what number goes on top of that? It would be 24. These 24, the 24 more kids who like than don't like. And that, right? It's quite obvious. What number can I put in there? An 8, an 8, and an 8, which means everything is an 8. And now I want to find out how many gym in the class. Well, the total number of people who don't like to play tennis is 8 plus 8, which is 16. And the people who like is 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. And if I add the don't with the like, it's going to give me 56 students in total. Okay. 13. Your answer. I'm missing you. Mark says the ratio of teachers to students is 18 to 30. Okay, so let me write that. And let's write it as a fraction. So this is teachers to students. Okay, so what else does it say? Kelly says the ratio is 40 to 150. So this is Mark. And Kelly over here says no, the ratio is actually 40 teachers to every 150 students. Are they in agreement or disagreement? Justify your answer. Meaning, Is Mark and Kelly saying the same thing, but just expressing the ratio in the ratio in a different format, even though although they're equivalent, or are they saying completely two different ratios? So 8 over 30, 40 over 50. One way to check is, can I simplify both of them to the same simplified ratio? 8 over 30, let's reduce that. Simplify, I can divide by 2, I think. Yeah, I can divide by 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. 30 divided by 2 is 15. The ratio is 4 to 15. Let's take Kelly. Can I reduce 40 over 150 to 4 over 15 as well? Well, 4 over 1, I can divide this by 10. I get 4. I divide this by 10, and I get 15. Look at that. So what does that tell me? It tells me that 8 over 30 and 4 over 150, okay, come from the same place. This from 4 over 15. Like taking 4 over 15 and creating two new equivalent ratios. I can create 8 out of 30 from 4 over 15, and I can create 40 out of 150 from 4 out of 15. Okay, which makes them equivalent. Okay, and if you look at them, and then again, and I'll write them like this as well: 8 over 30 and 40 over 50 side by side. Look at the relationship. 30 to become 150 is times 5. What's the same relationship applied on top? Is it 8 times 5 as well? If it is, then we know that these two are equivalent. Okay. I think it's pretty not that difficult. I want to come back to one question because that still bothered me. This one. So the question says, how long will it take for her? I don't know. Okay. How long will it take her to read a 400-page book? So I want to write the 400 pages at the bottom. And no, I don't. I want to write this first. What I know first was 360 pages at the bottom. And I want to know how long it takes her to read a 400-page book, right? Let's forget the up and down for a second, okay? And pretend there isn't one. How would I get from 360 to 400? Is there anything I can do? I can simplify 12 over 360, right? I can divide it by 12, actually. Okay. I can divide it by, no, by 2 wouldn't work, wouldn't help me. I divide it by 4. Hang on a second, 180, 90, 45, no. What if I divide this by 12? What would I get? So, I can divide this by, did I say 4? No, by 12. I get 1, I divide this by 12, I would get 30. So, it would take her 1 hour to read 50 pages. Still no relationship here. I guess what we can do is, well, not that there is, actually there is, you can still use the up and down, but, no, not but. How would 30 become 1? Divide by 30. And how would 40 give us our answer? Would we divide by 30 as well? And what we did previously, 400 divided by 30, gives us our answer of, again, same answer, 13.3. Okay, 13.3 hours, by the way. Don't forget the units. Okay, there should be a bonus word. Oh, here it is. That's what I'm using to write on my screen. Bamboo.